In the first part of this episode, we demonstrated Firelink Shrine to be inspired over the Shrine of Delphi in Greece, with Anastasia of Astora and the Fire Keepers representing potential oracles. The Oracle of Delphi, however, is not the only cult reserved to women based in Delphi. The goddess of the fireplace, Hestia, was said to reside in Delphi and to require female priestesses to keep her flame lit. In the first part of this video, we are going to discuss Hestia and her Roman declination, Vesta, as inspirations for the Witch of Isolith. In the second part, we are going to make an association between the priestess of Vesta and the Firekeepers in Dark Souls series. The following is a series of similarities that Hestia and Vesta have with Isolith, which should ensure their explicit connection. Hestia and Zeus are two siblings who, with the others, overcame the Titans to become the new rulers of the world. Isolith fought next to Gwyn and the other gods to overcome the dragons and establish the Age of Fire. After the establishment of the ruling gods, Zeus gave the task to Hestia to keep the flame of the Olympus always lit. As we saw in the third episode of this series, Isolith, in her Bed of Chaos form, keep the bonfire lit, so to maintain the Age of Fire established by Gwyn. The ancient Greeks thought that their domestic fires and that of the gods were connected, so that burning fat of the animals in the fire would have helped Hestia to keep the fire on the Olympus lit. It was also thought that with the fire on the Olympus going out, also those of men would have followed, leaving the world without light. Still in the third episode, we saw how the bonfires are all connected to the Bed of Chaos, so that when the flame of chaos starts going out in Dark Souls 3, also the Age of Fire goes out, with the fading fire in the last bonfire. Hestia and Vesta usually are not represented in statues, as they are identified with the domestic fires and those in the temples. However, in rare cases in which they get pictures, they appeared as hooded women on a wooden throne holding a staff or a fire. In the Bed of Chaos, we can identify Isolith in the burning body at its top, similarly to how the Daughters of Chaos emerge from their chaotic deformations. The human's form of Isolith, instead, is that of a hooded woman holding a flame, which we know to possess a staff. In particular, this image of Isolith strongly recalls the modern representation of Hestia holding a fire. The temples of Hestia and Vesta had circular plan at which center was located the fire representing the god. They were also considered a place of meeting for the people of the city. In Dark Souls 1 and 3, we find the Firelink Shrine, which are circular constructions hosting a bonfire at their center. Also, these serve as meeting point for the several NPC of the games. The name of Hestia in Greek means hearth or fireplace, and it is probably the origin of the name of Estus, which is indeed collected at the bonfires. While we know little about the priestess of Hestia, the cult of Vesta in Rome is well documented, so that we are now going to focus especially on the priestess of the latter, the Vestal Virgins. If Hestia and Vesta are the obvious inspiration for the Witch of Isolith, the Vestal are the inspiration for the Firekeepers. The task of the Vestal was that to keep the flame of Vesta permanently lit. The task of the Firekeepers, which is implicit in their name, is to keep the flame of Isolith lit, which flame, as we saw, manifests in the bonfires. As the Oracle of Delphi, also the Vestal have to be virgins. We already stated in the previous episode how virgin and maiden are synonymous, and it is easy to notice how all the Firekeepers are considered maidens, not only in Dark Souls, but also in Demon Souls and Elden Ring. The Vestal were dressed in white to highlight their purity and divinity. The Firekeepers are supposed to dress of white, and their clothes, as the maiden said, resemble the layered attire of the Vestals. To the Vestals were reserved special punishment. One of the most famous was that to be buried alive inside a hill. The same treatment is part of the punishment of Anastasia of Astora, who was buried under her bonfire. Also, the firekeepers left to rot in a pit in Dark Souls 3 could be a reference to such a punishment. This was the second part of the fourth episode of the series The Origins of Chaos. As always, I want to thank the Dark Souls wikis, which are always a great source of information and images. Also, for the realization of this video, I have used material from the TED channel, which relies an episode entirely based on the life of the Virgin Vestals. Other artists and players from which I borrowed material are in the video description. My main work of speculation is in my ongoing book The Soulsborne Thesis, which you can read for free on WordPress or support through the Kickstarter. Both the links are in the description. Thank you for watching. Bye!